Florida, let's kick some rap. See what up to the ghosts from futures past. Life moves fast, I've been told. Took some time, but now I know. Ups and downs, highs and lows. One way road, so on I go. Roll the blunt. Gentry Fox in the house.
Yeah.
What's up, dude?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good.
Good.
What was that we were just listening to there?
That is Assimilation. That's off my new upcoming album.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Rare Demo Shit Volume 2.
Oh, well, that was a good one to play then, wasn't it? I just chose a little clip there.
I appreciate it.
Found something that sounded cool. So,
yeah.
Welcome back. I'm going to be honest. This is our take 2 here.
Yep.
We did a whole 40-minute conversation yesterday, and I found out I wasn't even recording the damn thing correctly.
Yeah, it happens.
I think we're good this time though. I am double checking everything though here.
Yeah.
Really quick.
Better be safe than sorry. It's happened to me so many times though. Like, I don't want to say it's nice to see it happen to someone else.
No, but it's nice to see that you're
not the only one. Yeah.
Actually, when you told me that yesterday, when you're like, yeah, sometimes that happens with my camera equipment, I'm like, well, at least you understand that.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. It's our pleasure, man. We're excited to have you. We've been looking forward to this day. Well, we were looking forward to yesterday, and then since yesterday, we've been looking forward to today.
Yeah.
You're coming to us from Rock Springs, Wyoming.
I am.
Thanks for coming all the way out here.
Oh, for sure, man.
How's your little vacation been so far?
If you
want to call it a vacation, your drive through the mountains.
It's been pretty good. It's always nice to come down here and visit my fam. I got my mom lives down here in Orem, and along with my 3 older brothers, they're all married and have kids, so I get to come down and be the cool uncle and hang out with everybody.
Being the cool uncle's cool, huh? I was the cool uncle for a little while.
Yeah. For a little while.
Yeah, for a little while. Yeah. And then all the older nephews got older. Nieces and nephews got older. Now they're cool cousins, and I'm just the old uncle. But yeah, dude. Yeah. So again, you know how this shit rolls out. Just
man.
A little background on you, dude. We just want to hear about how you started, where you're going, where you've been, where you're at.
For sure.
Yeah, just give us the lowdown.
Well, I'm 27. I've lived in Rock Springs, Wyoming since I was about 5 years old. Before that, I was actually born in St. George, Utah, and then moved from St. George to here in Orem, where I lived till I was about 3 or 4. My dad worked at a funeral home down here on like State Street, and then he's a funeral director. And then after around that time is when my parents started to split up and get separated, and then we lived in another little place down here in Orem before my dad, since they officially got divorced, and he got custody and then took me up to Wyoming, where he started the Fox Funeral Home, which is where we then stayed for the next 20 years. And Wyoming's kind of it's a different place. I mean, it's a different world. A lot of people up there, I think it's like almost mandatory that if you grow up in Wyoming, you're forced to tell other people how shitty it is when they ask. They're like, "How's Wyoming?" And you're just automatically supposed to tell them how much it sucks. Like, I think maybe some people even believe it, but I didn't, and I kind of did too until I moved away. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. You got to move away.
What about it sucks that people think they have to automatically say that?
I have
boredom and
I think just boredom and
like country town type thing. Not a whole lot going on.
Yeah, and like if people have issues with a certain somebody, then they automatically just kind of generalize everybody in the entire town. Like, it's like, oh, this person treated me bad, so everyone in this town sucks. Like,
gotcha. Yeah. Is it a pretty small little town where everyone knows most everyone?
Just about. I mean, it's relatively. It's not super small. Like,
I mean, I've heard of Rock Springs out here, and I've never even really been to Wyoming, so I know that it's big enough to know it exists.
Yeah.
When you haven't been there.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it's about like 30,000 people. Which is just enough to where everybody pretty much knows each other, knows like siblings of somebody.
What's the
else.
Capital of Wyoming?
It's Cheyenne.
Cheyenne, that's right. I was thinking, no, wait, isn't Rock? And then I was like, no, Rock Springs isn't the capital. I'm not good with that.
Cheyenne's like right on the opposite side of Rock Springs. Rock Springs is down in the southwest corner. And
I was gonna say, I think the capital would be more of a city area, isn't it? Yeah. So, anyways, so Rock Springs, and then you came. So and you worked as a funeral director, or not a funeral director, but at the morgue with your dad. Yeah,
worked there for my upbringing, and after I graduated high school. Well, first I was in and out of detention facilities my whole youth, just because I was a poor student, and like, I don't know, I think it was the No Child Left Behind Act is what did it, but basically like, back then if you were failing in school or getting bad attendance, then they have to bring in supervision, like usually with the law. So they'll put you on.
So you weren't out causing trouble. You just weren't doing well in school.
No, exactly. Yeah. And so I was on like supervised probation, and then if you revoke this, or not supervised, what's it called? Academic probation. And then once you revoke that academic probation, then they'll usually put you on unsupervised, and if you revoke that, then you get actual supervised.
Jeez, they're getting serious with that. Huh?
Oh, dude, it was such a joke. I think I've done maybe like 2 years cumulative total of my life behind bars, and I've never been charged criminally. Like,
it's all because of school.
Yeah, essentially, I would get out and like I'd do good for a little bit, and then I'd fall behind in my grades, and I'm getting piss tested, and I was a teenager, I was smoking a lot of weed, so like trying to get away with that, and it didn't really work. No. So I get sent away and I get out, but the good thing about all that is that I was actually, while I was behind bars, I was able to catch up on all the credits that I was missing in order to graduate. Like, I think it was like 24 credits to graduate or whatever, and when I was in this place called the Wardell Academy, they had a system basically where you could just earn credits on your own doing these packets. So when I was bored and I didn't have anything to do, like before I go back to my cell, I'd just take a bunch of these packets and I just
so you even called it a cell, huh? So this was seriously like going to jail.
Yeah, I've
never heard of this.
Yeah, I think it's the first facility I was in is like the local detention center in Cheyenne, or at least it used to be. I think they got shut down a few years ago for a lot of shady stuff, which doesn't surprise me because the place was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, but it sounds like it.
Yeah. The benefit of that though is that I was able to, like, as soon as I got out and I was finally off probation, and after like the third time of going back in and getting out, I was like finally free, and I had 1 year. It was my senior year, so I had one more year of school before I could graduate, and I was like, well, I already got enough. I've caught up on all my credits. Like, I'm off probation now. Maybe I can actually have a good school experience. Yeah. I got accepted into the alternative high school in Wyoming, which is it's just a much more smaller environment, more suited like to people like me who just don't really dig.
Dude, I did horrible in school, man. Yeah. People like us, trust me. I didn't graduate till 2010.
Oh, yeah. No, that's perfect. That's actually when I was supposed to graduate, and I ended up graduating in 2011. They told me that I was still a little bit behind, and I'd have to take like a bunch of summer school in order to catch up, and like just do a bunch of crazy work, or I could come back for 1/4 of the next semester in 2011 and then graduate. And I was like, I'll just do that. Like, yeah. I want my summer, and so
for sure.
Yeah, I did that, and I ended up graduating, and then after that I I knew that the opportunity didn't exist in Rock Springs, especially to do the stuff that I wanted to do, like in entertainment. And my brother Brady, he's the oldest out of the four of us. He owned and operated a snowboarding manufacturing company down here in Orem. It's called Revolution Snowboards, and he took me on to work in the factory, and that's when I moved down here and started living down here. I didn't really know anyone besides my family. And I worked on the factory for about a floor, and my other brother, he's the next youngest besides me. I'm the youngest out of all of them, but his name is Tyler, and he was the lead graphic designer, so he would do the promotional design for the snowboards, and then like build a board where people would customize their web or their snowboard on the internet, and then we basically produced it for him. And he was planning on quitting and getting a different job, or maybe he got a different job with somebody else, or basically he was training me to do his job. And that's where I was always interested in like graphic design and artwork, but that's when I was able to really understand like Illustrator and how to do it in a professional environment. And then eventually like I ended up taking over his job, and I was off the factory, and then I would I was designing snowboards, and it was awesome.
And graphic design is something that you're still pretty passionate about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's probably where I make the majority of my income, to be honest. Like, music doesn't really pay the bills. I mean, it does, but it's very very small.
Yeah, I think that's how it is with everyone, unless you're Green Day or among them.
Yeah, for sure.
Seriously, it's especially these days with like the freaking all this free music. Music's free everywhere. That's just how it is. Music's free now.
Exactly.
So it's hard to make a living off of it. It really is. That's really kind of why I gave up and started going elsewhere. But but you're killing it, man. You're dropping a new single every week.
Thanks, man.
You've got a lot of music videos. I like that music video. Now I don't know if I understood this. You made a music video while you were stuck in a hotel in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I know.
That was sick, dude. I remember that. Now, I'm actually glad that we're doing this a little bit because I wanted to bring that up yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, was that something that you just did because you were there with a camera?
Yeah, exactly.
That turned out so good, man.
Thanks, man.
What song was that so people could check it out?
It's called Woke.
Woke. Okay, yeah. Go check out if you guys. How do people get a hold of you on Facebook? Your music page.
Yeah, my Facebook. You can just search Gentry Fox, GENTRYFOX. Pretty much on all social platforms. If you want to watch that video, it's available on YouTube.
There you go. Yeah, that's a cool video. This video, it was during the winter time when we had this horrible shitstorm of a snowstorm. Yeah. And you were driving out here, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I was down here visiting my parents.
Oh, so you were driving back to Wyoming?
Yeah.
And he got
back
stuck.
and then
tell the story, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, it got brutal on the way back. Like I slept in a little too late. I was hoping to leave early in the morning because I knew that storm was coming. But I'm like, no, I gotta get back and feed my cats. Like, I gotta. Like, sorry, Mom, I can't stay. And she's like, oh, it's gonna be bad. You might as well just stay. And I'm like, no, I gotta leave. So I end up getting like almost to Evanston, and it's just pure whiteout. Like, I can barely see anything. Luckily, I pulled in, got a hotel, and I always roll with my camera equipment. Like, luckily, I got this camera like late 2014. Cost me. Literally my leg. That's the joke I always make because in order to the money that I got to fund my camera and my studio and all that comes from a settlement after I sued this trucking company after a car accident back in 2012.
Okay, well, so that sucks. You got in an accident, but it's cool. Something good came out of it.
Yeah, I mean, so much good.
So when you were saying, when we were talking earlier, and you were saying you're sitting there with a busted leg, is that what you're talking about? You broke your leg. What happened? What happened there? If you don't mind talking about it.
Oh, it's all good. Like, it was back in 2012. It was almost like 5 days after my 21st birthday. I think I was living down here still at the time, but I went back to Wyoming to celebrate with my friends and hang out a bit. And it was like 4 days after my 21st, and it was early in the morning, and I was driving in it's an intersection that has a truck stop there, and so there's always semis trying to pull in and park. And I don't know if this dude just didn't see me or what it was, but he pulled out right in front of me, and I slammed on my brakes, just like hoping I could avoid him, but there's really nothing I could do. I could have either tried to veer off to the left and go underneath the semi and get decapitated.
I was gonna say that was probably the worst choice.
Yeah. Exactly. Or I could take a right and go off this bridge. So I was just like, dude, I'm just gonna go right into the tire well.
Sounds like you made the right choice, man.
Yeah.
Of the three evils there. Holy cow, that sounds like a shitty situation.
It was.
Is that one of those you thought you were gonna die for a second?
No.
That sounds scary, dude.
I've been in 2 serious car accidents. This is the very first one, and it was a lot more physically traumatic. Like, as soon as I got out of that, like, as soon as it happens, like, I just thought my car was gonna explode because there was smoke everywhere, and like, so I'm trying to get out of my car, but the minute that I stepped out, my leg just crumbled like an accordion.
Oh god, that hurts.
Yeah, and it was, so I ended up suing them and getting money for that, and I used that to end up buy my camera and build my studio, and it wasn't a lot of money. Like, I was hoping that I would just like get like almost $1 million and just be balling out and live comfortably forever and like structure it so I get maybe like a piece of it every month instead of all at once. Cause
didn't work out that way though.
Nah.
No.
But I'm glad that I was.
Should have. It sounds like that sounds like it could have killed you, man.
Right?
Seriously does.
Yeah.
Semis aren't a joke, man.
Dude, no, those things are brutal.
Yeah.
Like, I still, every time I pass one of those trucks, I don't want to give away the name of the trucking company, but every time I pass one of those trucks, I
anxiety,
get a little anxiety.
Oh,
I'm
bet,
like,
dude.
Oh no.
So how did the whole hip hop thing start? Where were you in your life? Like, what state were you living in? You said you ran into an old buddy. Just go ahead and tell that whole story.
Yeah. Well, I've always been passionate about rap and hip hop music. I just I never thought I had what it takes to be a part of it. Like, especially early on, like when I was maybe 12 or 13, like. Well, I guess if you want to back up all the way to the beginning, what kind of got me into it all was Will Smith, Big Willie style. It was the first album I really copped. After the Men in Black movie and the music video at the end.
Did you ever rewind after you got into Will Smith and go back to Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff? That's the stuff I like.
It's so sick.
A Nightmare on My Street. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, it was just awesome. Like, it kind of opened me to that whole world, and I just went down a rabbit hole trying to find as much stuff as I could. And eventually in 99 or 2000 is when Eminem really started to blow up.
Boom.
Yeah. And yeah, he was just all over. He was forced into everybody's living rooms, and everybody knew about him because parents were warned not to let their kids listen to his music. And me being a white blonde-haired kid from Wyoming,
first thing you did.
Angry. Exactly. So, and this was, I was still too young to buy music, but this happened. I had early access to the internet. With my dad owning a funeral home, like, we had dial-up super early, so I was always on there trying to find flash games to play and stuff like that, and that's when I discovered Napster, and I had a field day.
You were one of them law-breaking music stealers that Laz Ulrich wanted to murder.
Always. I always was. That's why I'm so, like, even nowadays, I don't plan on trying to make a lot of money with my music, because, it's free pretty much.
It really is. It's turned into either you tour your ass off or it's a hobby.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it could be more than a hobby, but you know what I'm saying. It's, you find something else in the music industry that'll make you money if you want to be in the music industry, and then make your music from that point. Exactly. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But no, I mean, like I said, you're killing it, dude. You're dropping a new song every week, and the song you're singing for us today, you said you just wrote a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, just a few days, which is crazy because it normally takes me quite a while to prepare some stuff. But yeah, I just got tired of, been working on this new album for like 5 years now. I dropped my debut in 2014, and it's just been too long, and I got fed up. Like, I've also been working on these other mixtapes projects, which is what I've been mostly putting out as singles every week, mostly by other producers, but I'm still, like, pretty passionate about them. It's still it's just a kind of way to keep my sword sharp, so to speak, until I get this new project done.
And that song, that little clip we played at the beginning, you said that's coming off.
Yeah,
that's going to be your new.
Yeah, that's off the new shit.
Right on. And then your first one was called
Rare Demo Shit Volume 1.
Volume 1, and this is Volume 2 coming up. And then, I mean, on top of that, you have tons of singles that I'm guessing are available on all platforms, right?
Well, they're not available on Spotify and iTunes and that stuff yet.
Oh, okay.
Just for copyright reasons, since I don't own, like, most of the production.
Like the beats and stuff.
Yeah, so that's why I just try to give it out for free. But it's available for free download on my website or SoundCloud or YouTube. You can check it out all on there.
So, do you have any, like, people who produce beats that you work with, or have you purchased any? I mean, obviously you've purchased beats because you're releasing albums, but like, is that what do you like work with someone and make your own beats? Do you purchase beats? How do you go about doing that?
Well, I mostly do my own production. I was actually making beats before I ever started writing, because that was about the first thing that I ever thought that maybe I could do. Like, I was like, dude, I'm never gonna be good enough to be a rapper or a good writer. Like, so I'm just gonna try to make beats. And that's what I started doing when I was, I think, like 11 or 12 is when I made my first beat. And
wow.
Yeah, it was a old software called DM2. It was like 2 digital turntables that, like, had loop pads on them. And
I kind of remember that little thing. I don't know if that's exactly the thing I'm talking about, but I remember those. Yeah.
Now, my brother Brady had one, and he showed it to me, and we
we're both hitting microphones over here. Sorry, man.
It's all good, man. But and my brother introduced me to this software and this tool, and I just started making, like, crazy beats that are almost not very different than what I make today, which is kind of weird. That my very first beats are, like, almost stylistically the same stuff that I'm into.
Hey, that's a good thing, man. It's because it's your own style you're establishing. You're not just going willy nilly with it all. Right. It's like you got a sound. You know, I mean, that's cool. So, continuing on, I didn't mean to break away from the story. Continuing on with your story, you ended up meeting. We talked a little bit, and you ended up meeting someone that you actually admire a lot. Yeah. And go ahead from there.
Yeah. See, like, in Rock Springs and in Wyoming, there's never the only place to go if you wanted to see dope concerts. Like, this has started to change recently, which I'm very grateful for. But
the scene in Rock Springs,
the growing music scene. But before that, if you wanted to see any of your favorite artists, you had to either travel down to Salt Lake City or you had to go to Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
And so it was always, I was trying to figure out when I did graduate, should I go to Colorado or Salt Lake? And when I would come down here to see some of my favorite artists, I went to see, I Idea and Abilities, rest in peace to Idea. But I went to go see them at Kilby Court. Like, I don't remember exactly what year it was, maybe 2007, I think. But there was a local opener there, and his name was Pat Main. Shout out to Pat Main. But he was just a local opener from Salt Lake City, and I had no like concept that like you could do that. You could be like a local rapper and open for a huge name. Like, I didn't understand. I thought he was on tour, like in the tour package with Idea in them, and so like me and my two buddies.
You didn't realize he was a local artist. You thought he was touring with these guys who were his buddies.
Yeah, and he was really good too. And I was just like, I was blown away. And I'm a kid, you know, and I'm like impressionable, and I'm like, this guy's sick. And long story short, basically after the show, we never did get to see Idea. Like, we left early because my friend Dylan passed out and had a seizure from exhaustion or whatever it was.
He has a happy ending. He's okay.
Yeah, he's good.
I sort of laughed yesterday. I was like, oh shit. And he says, yeah, and his eyes were rolling back in his head. I was like, oh god, is he alright?
I kind of laughed.
His friend's alright.
Any of my other friends would have done something like that as a joke, and then once I looked, I was like, oh wait, that's Dylan. Like, he's not joking.
Oh, so he's one that wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
God, thank God, because if it was one of your other friends, you probably would just start kicking him while he's down.
Like, get up, you ass. Like, what are you doing?
Anyway, sorry. I keep breaking your story off. I'm sorry.
You're good, man. But yeah, it was a trip. So he passed out, and I picked him up like a sack of potatoes, carried him outside, and he was freaked out and didn't want to be there anymore. And I was like, dude, it's all good. Let's go get some food, you know, and hang out and relax. We don't need to be here. And like, he was upset that like he was making us miss the shows, what he thought. And we're like, dude, we're just worried about our friend. Like, you know, we want to take care of you. We'll be all right. And just happened to be while we were leaving, before Idea and them came on, Pat Main was standing on the street corner. I think he was either getting ready to leave or maybe just talking with some fans or whatever, but he saw that we were pulling out, and he ran up to the car and started talking to us, and he gave us his demo CD.
He ran up to you and started talking to you?
Yeah. Like,
was it to make sure your friend was okay, or what was that all about?
I think so. I think he saw my friend pass out, and that's kind of why, he saw us leaving.
That was just serendipity, wasn't it?
Dude, it is, and it's crazy how that snowballed into so much, because like, he gave us that demo CD, and I brought it back to Wyoming and just burned it for everybody. Like, we were all playing it. Like, all my friends to this day still quote like that guy's tracks, and he was just a local from down here. And once I realized that, like, I started to pay more attention to the local scene in Salt Lake, and that's where I was introduced to all these other incredibly talented artists. Like, I could name drop. I'll name drop just a few. I feel bad if I name drop, forget someone. Yeah, like Phil Maggio, Task Rock, Dumb Luck, Malev to Shinobi. Dude, there's so many. But anyway,
you're gonna have to leave me a little list, dude. Yeah, because I want to check these guys out.
I will for sure, and I bet some of them would be stoked to come on.
Yeah, for sure, I'm gonna try.
But the most predominant was this kid named Burnell Washburn. I went to go see. Pat Main invited me to some show. Like, I guess I was in town, and he invited me to some show. I don't know. I don't think he was playing it, but I think he was just trying to reach out and like support. Like, he knew that I was in town and that I didn't really know anybody here, and like, so he's like, hey, come to this show tonight. And I think it was this group called Themselves, I think is who it was. But one of the openers was a local kid, and his name was Burnell Washburn. And Pat's like, dude, this kid's or I asked Pat, I'm like, dude, who's this kid? Like, he's really sick. And he's like, oh, this is Burnell Washburn. And fast forward to the end of the night, we're hanging out. I'm sitting next to Pat, and Burnell comes up to Pat, and he's like, yo, man, I've been meaning to give you this for a while. He had a demo CD of his own, and he went to go give it to Pat, and Pat just takes it and looks at it, and he's like, don't take this the wrong way, but I'm going to give it to this kid right here, because he's going to do way more with it than I will, I promise. And like, I could see a little bit of disappointment in Burnell's face when he did that, but I was stoked because I loved the kid's set, and I'm like, dude, I promise I will make sure that this gets in the ears of the people who will love it.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, sure enough, I started listening to the hell of that, and I became a huge fan of this kid. And I saw a bunch of shows that he performed. I met him a few times, and then I moved down here, didn't have any friends or whatever. Fast forward to the end of 2012. It was still while I was kind of recovering after my car accident. It was about 4 months afterwards, I think. Pat Main was releasing his his newest record. It was called Doomsday Charades, and it was set to be released on the day that the world was supposed to end, which was December 21st, 2012.
The end of the Mayan calendar.
Yeah, and so he had his release party, and I went to go support. Didn't know anybody. It was just me. I just went by myself, and he had an awesome show. And Burnell was there, and I happened to see him, and that's the first time that he like recognized me, and we connected, and we talked for a bit, and I was kind of inebriated, and he offered me like, yo, instead of driving all the way back to Orem, you're welcome to come crash at our spot. He had an office called Wasatch Renaissance with like a bunch of other local artists and designers and musicians, and they all just kind of had this collective that all worked under the roof of this office building. And like he invited me to crash over there, and it was like, I don't know how, but like the next day he he knew that I was interested in all this graphic stuff and that I had videos, and I think he knew that I would be a valuable asset to his team. He told me like, yo, dude, we got this office, but it's just full of crap and junk. Like, if you clean it out, you can set up your computer in there and like have your own office. I'm like, I'm on it. So,
for free?
Yeah, for free.
Damn.
So, dude, I cleaned up that whole office in like a matter of like 2 hours, if that. And then finally I had like my own office space to work, like my own studio pretty much. Like before I was, recovering from my car accident, I got evicted, I guess, so to speak, from the apartment that I was living at down here because I was trapped in Wyoming and I couldn't make it back down here. I didn't have a car, and I was still healing. So all my stuff was in storage, and I was going through a rough time, and that really picked my spirit up a lot. It's like, wow, dude, yesterday I was feeling like shit, and now I like have a whole group of new friends, like
your
awesome
own
people,
office.
my own office, my own studio, like
Your creative space.
yeah, and
that's
it was
awesome.
amazing, and I owe that kid so much. And like he, not only that, but he put me on my very first show on November 27th of 2013. It was at a place called the Canyon Inn in Salt Lake City. It was like it's right at the mouth of one of those canyons, and I don't know that area too well.
I think it's Little Cottonwood.
Little Cottonwood,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Where that 7-Eleven?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that little, like, looks like a cabin up right next to the
Exactly.
mouth of the mountains.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it's that bar that used to be right behind it, and that was where I played my very first show. And ever since then, like, I've just been addicted to it. Like, I'm like, wow, this is actually possible. Like, I might actually be able to, do the thing that I've always wanted to do.
Now, on this show, we were talking yesterday, is this the show where you pretty much had to improvise and you ended up kicking ass at it?
Yeah, like I
share
didn't
that,
have,
dude. That was cool.
Thanks. I didn't have like any real material, but I didn't want to turn down the opportunity. Like, it's what I always wanted to do. So I'm like, dude, I'll do it. Like, put me on the flyer, and I'll be ready. And
Jumped in unprepared, feet first.
I think I had like 10 minutes set or whatever. So I had like 3 songs, or maybe it was less than that. I don't know. But these songs, I basically just took like verses that I had written to other stuff, and then tried to match them over beats like on the spot. And it worked out perfectly. Like, it was awesome. People were stoked and supportive because it was my first time. They're like, dude, you killed it. You're going to be so good someday. Just like keep it up. And like, I'm all feeling myself. But the next time I tried to do the exact same thing, and I bombed terribly. I forgot all my lyrics. I'm just like smacking myself on stage. And just
you were smacking yourself on stage.
Well,
isn't that horrible,
yeah,
dude?
figuratively.
It's figuratively.
It
But
was
still,
so
though, dude.
bummed.
There's nothing worse than that. I mean, we won't dwell too much on me, but I know what it's like going on, because I'm an acoustic guitar solo man, and going on stage with no extra strings.
Right.
3 songs into a 10-song set, and one of my fucking strings pops.
Oh,
like,
no.
what do you do from there on?
Dude,
you know,
that's bad because you can't really play that off.
No,
Like, you
you
can't
can't.
pretend like that didn't happen. At least if you forget like your lyrics on stage, like you just start freestyling.
Yeah, you
like,
can
most
kind
people
of cover
can't
yourself
tell.
up, but no, that's a one-time situation where you go up there and pull that shit off, and
Yeah.
you learn that.
Yeah, man,
but it doesn't matter because have you done any shows since then?
Oh yeah, I've done
And you've
so
killed it,
many.
right?
Yeah, like I feel every show I get better. Like, I've done so many, and in fact, I was fortunate enough to go on my very first tour in 2014. Burnell actually took me on the Life Doesn't Suck tour with other local artists. Lost the Artists used to go by the name Lost Boy. He's now in a band called Beach Death. Shout out to Lost, Ian. And then there's Ocelot. He's another cool local cat, and he does a lot of big stuff. And then let's see who else. Omid the Nog was on that tour. He's one of Burnell's friends, really talented dude. And then I think our DJ was it was supposed to be this guy named DJ Vagif, but he ended up moving to New York. So we ran with our friend. His name is DJ Nizzle. I'm sure a lot of people in Salt Lake probably know DJ Niz.
DJ
Nizzle. He's a really good guy, and he's DJ'd for me a lot. Like, but yeah, we went on tour for the first time, and that's where I really kind of got to see, like, do what I love to do outside of cities, especially like in Utah and just all over the whole West Coast. And I was like, wow, dude, there's like, the people were so supportive, and it was something that I loved. And I'm like,
do you remember where you went?
Yeah, let's see. We went to Idaho first. I think we played, I don't know how many dates we did in each one, but we played in Idaho, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, and Colorado.
Oh, sweet. So
yeah.
you did a straight up tour. Yeah, that was a good one. But you didn't hit
2 weeks.
You didn't hit California though?
Yeah, we did. We played in, let's see, Santa Cruz, and where's the other place? Roseville.
Right on.
We played. We met some awesome people out there, and
I bet.
that whole place, that's definitely might want to move out there someday. That's like
California?
Yeah, well, that's like the cliche thing to do when you're from a small town.
Yeah.
Go to California, get in the industry, make
everyone
it
out there are transplants from small towns, for the most part.
Yeah, but then like I thought about that, and it's like, maybe, I don't know if that's a good idea, because maybe that's what the one thing that makes me unique is being from a place where there's not many people to do it.
True.
Like, if I just went out there, then I'd just, I'd be like everybody else.
Small fish in a big pond.
Exactly.
Yep. I mean, not that you're a small fish. I mean,
I totally am.
Well, you're establishing yourself out here, dude. You get a lot. I mean, you get a lot of listens, and I
appreciate that.
And I've had a lot of. I mean, you saw when I posted that you were coming. I mean, a lot of likes on that. A lot of people excited to hear this interview. So you've got fans, man. Don't think you don't, because you do. You know you do. But
thanks, man.
So just because it was interesting, and we won't dwell as much on it today as we did yesterday, but give us a little background on this whole morgue situation. You work with your dad. He owns a morgue. You said it was out here on State Street.
Well, that was the first one. Like, my very first memories were in a funeral home that he worked at here in Orem. But he ended up opening his own mortuary up in Rock Springs.
Am I using the wrong word saying morgue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's all good. And people tell me that all the time. Like, the morgue is at the hospital. Like, some funeral homes do have morgues.
Okay,
like,
so the morgue is where they like keep the bodies in the little fridges.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
Well, I think there are a lot of funeral homes that do have morgues in them.
But you didn't work at a morgue.
Yeah,
you had a mortuary is where you prepare the bodies.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we pick them up from the morgue, bring them to the mortuary, and then embalm them. Cremate.
You didn't do the embalming.
No, that's not my forte. I've cremated. Done the cremation process.
How is that? We talked a little bit about this yesterday. I think this is actually an important part of this job. It's an eye-opening job for you.
Dude, for sure.
It makes you appreciate what life is a little bit more, doesn't it? I mean,
definitely. Like, that's really the reason why I do what I do, is because life can end at any moment, and I've seen like so many people lose their loved ones, and like the stories that they tell that's what remains. Like, the pictures and the stories and how you made them feel, like, that's the stuff that lives on beyond our physical bodies. Like, so I just want to live every single day as if it could be my last, and make as much art and stuff that will remain long after I'm gone. Like,
leave a footprint.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that's really my goal, and I think that's the biggest blessing I've taken away from growing up in that kind of environment. Like, all my metalhead friends think, oh, dude, you should be a metalhead kid. Like, you'd make the sickest black metal ever. Like,
I dealt with bodies, real dead bodies.
And I'm like, I totally get it. Like, it's, but yeah, it's like the emotional part of it is what kind of affected me the most. Like, I guess I could say that I'm numb to the death aspect. Well, yeah, I don't know if it's numb, but I definitely just have the different perspective on it, I feel.
What do you think about, I mean, and this is probably getting a little too philosophical for what we're doing right now, but working in a mortuary, I was about to say morgue again, working in a funeral home, we'll just say that. Did you... I honestly forgot my question. We discussed this yesterday too. We segue a little bit. We both have the forgetting problem, so we might come back to that. We want to talk about your music anyway, man. What's in the future for you? We talked about your past, your present. What do you got coming up?
Well, right now I'm still finishing up my my next album, Rare Demo Shit Volume 2. I've been working on it for 5 years. It's the sequel to my 2014 debut, and I've worked on it really hard. And I like making albums that have an entire theme, you know, that aren't just like skippable, you know, like I want you to be able to play the album from front to back and tell an entire cohesive story.
Exactly, yeah.
Which
is awesome over releasing singles. It's nice. We were talking about this yesterday. I'll say you. I'm talking to you. You're releasing a lot of singles right now, which is a good segue into an album, because an album is like a whole story as to singles. You don't really get that when you combine a bunch of singles together. So that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was really my goal with those singles too. Is like I don't want to spend 5 years on an album that I poured my heart and soul into that like I thought was great, and then at the end of the day it goes under the radar because, you know, like basically just not relevant enough, I guess. Like, and I feel like the singles give people an idea of what to look forward to, and they also keep people you know, their appetites full. And they're fed, like, and it's, I don't know, it's definitely helping my writing process too. Like, I'm not taking as long to write songs, like which is, you know, I'm not able to go back and like overthink things, because all these tracks, like I'll release something, I'm like, dude, I could have made that so much better, or there's like, if I would have just maybe spent a little bit more time on it. But from my experience, that little more time equals never putting it out,
exactly,
like holding on to it forever and like tweaking it to the point where like it just never gets released. And so now I think by releasing singles every week, it's like starting to make me get over that process and just be like, well, nothing's ever gonna be perfect. Like,
it's like painting a picture, man. You can keep adding stuff to the background all day long, all you want, and it'll probably make it look a little better, but you're never going to stop if you don't stop.
Exactly. You know? And you might even, like, you could even make it worse.
Like, you end up ruining it.
Better.
Yep.
Like,
you overdid it.
Exactly.
Yep. Overshot. Yep, for sure. So when are we looking at the release on this new album coming up?
I'm hoping August 13th of this year. That's exactly 5 years since I dropped the first one.
So there's a theme to this 5 year. I mean, to the date. It's a 5 year anniversary of when you dropped the first album. Yeah. So what's taking you? Is it just what's taking you 5 years to do this? Just doing it yourself and sort of just taking breaks here and there?
Yeah, I think that is. I've also gone through a lot of crazy stuff in my personal life. Like after I released that first album, I was on a good run, like up and high, and I was like, I didn't start working on it immediately. I started focusing on these mixtapes. And I was kind of put that on the back burner, and then I ended up, like, my hard drive ended up crashing, and I ended up losing like all the assets for pretty much everything I've made for an entire 15 years. Like every file I ever saved or stored was on that hard drive, and it crashed, corrupted, and like I was able to recover some beats, like just like really low quality versions. I wasn't able to get the actual stems and assets back, which kind of sucked, but like, and so it's taken me a minute to kind of rebuild the pieces of where I was at when that hard drive crashed, and then to make it even harder, on May 27th of 2016, I got in another car accident.
Oh yeah, you said you were in two. What happened there?
This one was a lot more. It wasn't as physically damaging, but it was a lot more mentally traumatic, because I really shouldn't have died. Or I really should have died. Like, I don't know how I survived it. Basically, I was on my way back from down here, back to Rock Springs, and it was super late at night. I guess I fell asleep. That's about, I mean, yeah, I guess I fell asleep behind the wheel.
Just don't remember anything from driving to being in a wreck?
Yeah, and I guess apparently I rolled my car off of down an 80-foot embankment about 12 times, and then off a cliff. And yeah, I think it was like 12 or 13 times I rolled. And then all I remember was just waking up in the middle of nowhere, covered in blood, like wondering where the hell I'm at. And then I turn around and I see my car just crumbled like a pop can. Like,
so you just woke up, you were driving, and then you woke up on the road seeing your car crumbled up. Wow,
yeah.
That'd be crazy.
And like, cause nobody saw me. Like, I went off the interstate and down into this little area, and nobody saw me. And I guess according to I filled up on gas. Like, I have my credit card statements, and I filled up on gas like around at 10 o'clock or whatever. But they didn't find me. Well, as soon as I woke up and noticed my car and crumbled and all that, I started screaming for help, like just as loud as I possibly could. And probably within 5 minutes, somebody at the gas station nearby heard me and came and found me and called an ambulance. But they said that was around 5 a.m. in the morning. So
you were out there for that many hours?
Yeah, I was knocked out.
So you were unconscious out there for hours?
Hours.
Oh my God.
Hours. And most people don't recover from that. Like, that's why I'm still like baffled by how I'm even still alive. Like, because people go brain dead from a lot worse. Like,
especially if you got knocked out and your brain wasn't getting any oxygen and get a stroke. Yeah, dude, I've heard of stuff like that. You're lucky.
Yeah, I had such a mean concussion. I barely remember any of the next couple months. But anyway, that was just like one of the small things that really kind of just. I think it took me kind of like an entire year to really like get my bearings back. Like, my thought process was, I felt like almost faster, but I wasn't able to articulate my words as quick. Like, and I still kind of have a little bit of that. Like, I'm always kind of tongue slipping or tongue twisting, and like.
So you think there might be a little bit of damage there?
There's probably a little residual, but I mean, for the most part, I'm alive. Like, I was great, and it baffles me that I was able to survive. A car rolling that many times and be fine. Like, it blows my mind. But
you just reminded me what I was going to ask you earlier, because I was just talking about getting philosophical. I was going to ask, and now this is an awesome add-on to it with these situations you've been through, and with you cremating bodies and you picking up bodies and you dealing with them your whole life. Yeah. Do you have what's your thought on afterlife stuff? Do you believe in the afterlife?
There is definitely something there. I don't know what it is, but there is. There's some, like, this is just a small fraction of what we know.
You don't believe we're just a blip?
Not at all. Like, and I like to think of it like, you look at like a cat or a dog, like their perception of the world is only what, they see. Like, they don't know what space looks like. They don't know.
Yep. They don't know anything about time.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think we're just kind of like that. Like, there's other things that are out there that we just not able to access or understand. And like, I kind of have, every now and again, I kind of have these flashbacks to what I try to remember the hardest what happened between the time when I was filled up on gas and to when I woke up with my car crash. Because I remember something was going on. It was like the craziest dream I've ever had. And then I just felt like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I just remember coming back to my body and like the whole world assembling back together. And like part of the deal was that I wasn't able to remember where I went. Like, you can go back, but you can't remember, like.
So you kind of remember coming back to yourself, but you don't remember where you were before that.
Not at all. I know I was crazy. Somewhere and I met someone, but I don't know, like.
Oh, you even think you met someone?
I think I do. I remember I was given knowledge, like I was taught about things that I don't like, but I wasn't able to, like, hold on to it, which is, it's really weird.
But you know it was there, and you know what happened.
Yeah, and it could have just been my brain firing off all kinds of different, things, like being unconscious and going through all that. Like, it could have been just dreaming.
But why look at it that way?
Exactly.
This is life. It's short. Look at it like something, because it probably was something special, dude. So don't discredit it by thinking it was just something. I get philosophical on my show quite often.
Oh, I have these thoughts all the time.
This isn't a new thing. Yeah. but yeah, no, man. I think it's wrong to discredit those experiences as something that happened, because not a lot of people get the chance to experience stuff like that, and it sucks that you have to go through shitty things to experience things like that. But
that's true.
But you got a song you're gonna play for us today, which is awesome, because it's our first hip hop performance in the studio, which is sweet.
I am honored, man.
So what song are we gonna do, and what is it? And give us a little background on it.
The song is called "Lovesick." I wrote it about about less than 5 days ago, so it's relatively new, but. It's basically just about being heartbroken. It's kind of an emo rap song.
Emo rap that explains itself.
Yeah. So it's kind of self-explanatory. I'll get into it and
cool.
See what you guys think. Hope you enjoy it.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Gentry Fox, coming to you from the Kip and Company Entertainment Talk Show. Shout out to Kip and Bobby Evanson for having me on. The song is called Lovesick. It's new, so I'll probably have to read the lyrics for you, but check it out. I once knew this damsel way back, we had a thing. 3 years since I've seen her. If you don't count when I sleep, she haunts me every night. I can't escape her spell. That look inside her eyes, that smile, that smell. I've been lost within hell since that day when we split. Matter of fact, I was in it before we even met. She made me feel at peace, my piece of heaven. I thought she was an angel in disguise, no question. Fuel within my engine, my spark, twin flame. She motivated me to be strong and brave, unshaken in my journey to become someone great. She saw something within me and it made me afraid, scared to let her down, reduce hope into remnants. Expectations lead to disappointment and resentment. She told me not to worry, she'd be mine forever. Now our only memories are the ones I remember. I'm lovesick. I'm lovesick. 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 I do not wanna play cat and mouse. Girls love the pursuit, I don't. Peace out. Some might take the hint and then move right along, while others hang around until they prove they belong. Category number 2, few and far between. Rumor has it that romantic love comes in threes. Our first lovers ever ain't meant to be. The second sent to test us, but third is thee. Who knows if it's true, but I hope that it is. Much love to 1 and 2, I'll always cherish, especially 1. Even though we've been done for nearly a decade, we had fun. I'm glad that our love remains warm and cordial. Someday you're gonna find the perfect one. Stay hopeful. I've said more than I should say about love too. As for love number 3, girl, where are you? I'm lovesick. I'm lovesick. I'm lovesick. Lovesick. Much love to Kip and Bobby Evans, and thank you guys so much for having me on. I appreciate you so much. My name is Gentry Fox. Kip and Company Entertainment Talk Show. Up in this bitch. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. We're gonna let this shit fade out though. Dude, thank you so much, Gentry, for coming, bro. Give me one of these and one of these. Say what up to the camera.
What's up, camera?
All right, everybody. That was Gentry fucking Fox, dude. That was sick, man.
Thanks,
that was awesome. Song was called Lovesick.
Thanks,
That is on the upcoming stuff, right?
Yeah, well,
actually, that's
I'm going to drop that on Sunday.
Oh, so you're dropping that on Sunday?
I am.
We got another exclusive right here before Sunday. This is the only place you can see that shit.
There you go. I know. I was worried because I want to do something exclusive for you guys, but then I was like, oh shit, if I'm dropping that on Sunday, I wonder when this podcast is coming out.
Hey, you know what? It's coming out on Sunday, so
that's perfect.
It'll coincide with the song. I'll be like,
cool, man.
I'll put in the comments, listen to his new song that he's dropping today.
Awesome, thank you,
yeah,
man.
we'll try to get you some listens on that new song, which
appreciate
you obviously
that,
probably
dude.
don't need our help doing that.
No, I definitely could use all the help I can get.
We all could, bro. We
Thanks,
all
man.
could. Thanks again for coming, man. This
Thank
was
you
an
so
awesome,
much
this was
for
an awesome
having me,
time. It was a
dude.
pleasure meeting you.
Dude, likewise.
It's great meeting my Facebook buddies that
For sure, man.
that I actually made some type of relationship with.
Definitely, dude.
It's cool meeting you. So stop by again, bro.
Oh, dude, I would love to. I'll come by anytime I'm in town and have something to promote.
Yeah, and anytime you want to stop by and you're in town, you are welcome. We'll have you on, and keep us posted when you come out and play shows here. We'll come out and not only promote it for you, but we'll come out and watch you.
Thank you, man.
Perform.
I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you. And one more thing I was gonna say, if I know we kind of talked about this already, but I do want to say it just so everyone else knows. My wife does awesome photography for live and promo situations for bands. So if you come out here and do any shows here soon, she's an awesome photographer.
Yeah, I actually saw some of her work, and we're definitely going to be in touch.
Oh, you looked at it? Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, she's got a great eye, and that's something that I've been searching for, is somebody that can take that kind of shit.
Well, I'm glad you looked at it, because I try to take them in and on the show to let the bands know that she does that, because she does an excellent job. She does excellent work.
She's really talented.
So yeah, and keep us posted on any releases, and we'll play.
We'll
play it all, man. We've already played you probably like 6 times on the show.
I know. Thank you so much for your support, dude. It means so much to me. Like, Yeah, I can't even begin to describe.
It's our pleasure, bro. We love your music. We love you, and I want to just throw it out there that it would be cool if you wanted to maybe do an acoustic mashup with me,
dude. Let's do it, please.
Because ask my wife. I'm not blowing smoke. I've wanted to do an acoustic mashup with a hip hop artist,
dude.
That's something I want to do. So.
Dude, I'm so down. Like, I wish that I played more instruments so I could do those sort of things. So like, yeah, especially. Dude, I would love to like make a track with you, like do some sick. Yeah, next time I'm in town, I'll bring my laptop and my interface, and we'll just jam around.
Do it, man, and you can crash on our couch, and we'll make a weekend of it, bro.
Awesome, dude.
Right on.
I'm down.
Thanks for coming, man.
For sure, man.
We're out
Thank
of here.
you so much for having me.
Peace out, guys. Check this out on obviously YouTube, but you can also check it out on any of the streaming platforms and podcast version, if you will. This is the video podcast. You can listen to the audio. Gentry Fox.
Thank you guys for listening.
We can find you can find you on Facebook, and none of your stuff is on Apple's or Spotify, but you'll let us know when that comes out.
Yeah, well, my first album is on there.
Your first album.
Yeah, and then I got a couple singles that I actually produced. Like anything that I produce, I'll put out on there.
Just for copyright issues?
Yeah.
You just don't have. Okay, so you do have stuff you can find.
Yeah.
Okay, so go look for stuff. It's on iTunes, and that is on Spotify, right?
Yeah.
All the platforms. All right. Cool. So yeah, go check them out. If you want to get a hold of me, notsoforeverproductions@gmail.com. Looking to book up June, so hit me up. Thanks again, Gentry.
For sure.
We out. Man. Peace out, guys.
Later.
Kip and Company, the Kip and Company, the Kip and Company, the Kip and Company, Entertainment Talk Show.